a new YouGov poll this is fascinating. Now, this was taken June 16th through the 18th, so that would have been what, about roughly a week ago. And it shows that a significant and ever-increasing percentage of Americans think that the United States is already a dictatorship. Now, I've been warning about this since, wow, since Reagan, really. But in a big way since the Patriot Act and all that kind of stuff in the early 2000s. But 24% of people, that's a quarter of Americans in this, or almost a quarter in this YouGov poll, said, quote, the U.S. is a dictatorship. They agreed with that. And if you exclude Republicans or Trump voters, a third of Americans believe that. 35% with independents, it was 30%, so only 7% of Trump voters think we're in a dictatorship, and they're probably quite happy about it. Back in February, now keep in mind, this survey was done last week, so this is June, this is in the summer. Back in February, in the winter, February 3rd through the 6th, they asked a couple thousand people the same question, and at that time, instead of a third of Americans, or a quarter of Americans, 24% of Americans, it was only 18% of Americans thought we were in a dictatorship. So are Americans waking up? Maybe. The way that dictators keep people in line, typically, is they know that a rifle shot is more effective than buckshot, right, or than a machine gun fire. If you can selectively take out just a couple of people in different industries and in different jobs, you can successfully intimidate pretty much everybody else in those industries and jobs. So you arrest a mayor, Ras Baraka, the mayor of New York, New Jersey. You arrest a member of Congress. We've got a member of the House of Representatives, forgive me, I'm not recalling her name, who has been arrested. You have a judge, or a state judge in Wisconsin, as I recall, maybe Minnesota, who was arrested. You have a member of the United States Senate, Alex Padilla, who was wrestled to the ground and handcuffed. You have students at Columbia University. You have Harvard University itself being made an example of. So all you have to do is just, you don't have to spend if Trump went after every university in America, everybody who had protested Netanyahu's policies in Gaza, or if Trump went after everybody who had attacked him, or anybody who was standing up to him, he'd have to spend an enormous amount of time and effort. So instead what he does is you pick these individuals, turn them into high-profile examples. The lawyer, the American lawyer who was flying back from Paris and got stopped at the airport and interrogated for hours and hours. The Australian guy who was stopped at the airport in Los Angeles and was interrogated for hours and then deported back, or sent back to Australia. You pick some people and make examples of them. And so now Donald Trump is doing this with his own party. Thomas Massie, and nobody questions Thomas Massie's right-wing credentials. I mean, this is a guy who every Christmas posts on social media a picture of himself, his wife, and their 4 boys, every single one of them holding an AR-15 in front of a Christmas tree, right? This guy is as hardcore right-wing MAGA as you can get. But he actually has some principles. I realize it's hard to understand, but there are some Republicans who still have principles, and one of the principles that he believes is that you should follow the Constitution, at least when it comes to war powers. And so he tweeted constitutional, what Trump is doing. It might be right, it might be the right thing to do, but he didn't ask Congress for permission. And so Trump now, in response to this, has created a super PAC that is going to be run by Chris LaCivita. Chris LaCivita, of course, is the guy who supervised the swift boating of John Kerry, if my recollection is correct. It's called the Kentucky MAGA. It's a super PAC, and that Chris LaCivita is going to run. He says he will spend whatever it takes to take down Thomas Massie, to primary him, to cause him to lose his seat in Kentucky. And like Marjorie Taylor Greene, for example, had posted a tweet earlier in the week, in which she basically said, attacking Iran, bombing Iran would be a stupid move, and Trump shouldn't do it. She just deleted the tweet. Why? Because she wants to say it's a good gig, Lifetime health insurance, lifetime pension, $200,000 a year, almost. I think it's $180,000 now. Good pay, lots of perks. You get to go on, trips all around the world, paid for by the taxpayer. So, who wants to blow that, right? So here we are. We've got Donald Trump now trying to make an example of Thomas Massie. And Thomas Massie, by the way, with Congressman Ro Khanna, sponsored this legislation that we all need to be calling our, particularly Republican, but all of our members of Congress, and saying, please co-sponsor this legislation that will require a war powers resolution before Trump can bomb another country.